So hi Alice, thank you for joining me today and being a part of this video. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Not too bad. What are you up to today? Like, are you in patient like meetings and things?
So I had a patient this morning, and then I've got another patient this afternoon. Okay. So it's actually a really quiet day today. I've only got 2 patients, but just doing admin.
Getting everything sorted out. Sorry.
Not my strong point, I said.
I don't think it's anyone's strong point. I'm always amazed by people that work in admin. Get everything sorted.
Oh, no. Not for me.
Fab. So is it alright if you just give everyone like a little bit of an overview about like who you are and what your specialism is, what your year is, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So I'm Alice. I'm just started my second year of the STP doing Respiratory and Sleep Science. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I'm based in Kent.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool. So are they like both a twinned department, or do you do some time on respiratory and some time in sleep?
So I mean, we don't really have a sleep department at the moment. Okay. So, well, actually, we're not really doing any sleep stuff at the moment. We were doing overnight oximetry, which is where basically you just get your oxygen levels and your heart rate monitored overnight. And we've been trying to get new stuff in for ages, but there's been a nightmare with like getting the trust to allow us to get the software because of information governance or something. So they've been trying for like a year and a half to get this new software. We've got all the equipment, but they just haven't got the software.
Yeah, maybe so, when you finish the STP, it'll all be sorted.
Yeah, like, so I know in the next few years, like, they're looking to develop like more of a proper sleep department. Like, my trust have employed a consultant specifically to lead on like sleep and ventilation, so they kind of need to put it in place.
Give him something to do, or her something to do.
Yeah. Yes, hopefully it will develop.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So I feel like I've seen on your Instagram before that you're running your own clinics and stuff.
Yeah, so I do just run my own clinics pretty much every day. Okay. Usually see like 6 or 7 patients a day. Because we do mainly for lung function testing. They take about 45 minutes, the appointments. Yeah. But I've been running my own clinics pretty much since I came back from my vascular placement in April. Yeah, we are very short-staffed at the moment, so yeah.
I feel like that's a running theme.
Yeah, no, genuinely. I asked my manager yesterday, like, oh, what percentage of patients do you reckon I've seen over the last months? And she was like, probably like 80%, maybe more. Because literally at the moment there's only really, 3 of us that can test. We've just got a new STP and 2 new Band 5 apprentices. One started this week, one starting next week, but they're all going to need to be trained up. So, yeah.
At least
I'm an expert now. No.
Exactly, you're one of the like higher ups.
No.
Fab. So is it alright if you just give a little bit of an overview of like your disabilities or long-term health conditions before we start kind of getting into it?
So we'll see. I have ADHD. Follow me on Instagram, you know that. Yeah. My Instagram is literally ADHD_Alice.
Yeah.
There's my Twitter. But yeah, so I've got ADHD. And then also have like comorbid depression and anxiety and OCD as well.
The depression and anxiety and OCD kind of stem from the ADHD, or are they like?
Yeah, I think certainly, yeah, they're definitely kind of linked. Yeah, it's probably more as a result of, I think, having the ADHD and also going undiagnosed for a long time, I think. Yeah.
It's one of those things that seems to be really undiagnosed in girls. I don't know if that's...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's just very strange.
Yeah, I think because there's obviously this stereotype of like hyperactive little boys, but actually, no, it affects girls as well. And it affects adults. Like it will start in childhood, but like often people don't get diagnosed until adulthood, particularly females. Yeah.
How does it kind of affect you in your day-to-day life?
So I have the inability to sit still. I'm really trying to sit still now.
You can get
no.
You want.
No, I have the inability to sit still, fidget constantly. But I think like actually it impacts a lot more things than just the kind of typical getting distracted or being hyperactive. Like a big thing for me, I'd say, is I get really severe like mood swings. So people with ADHD have a lot of issues with like emotional regulation and stuff. So I struggle a lot with like severe mood swings. So I can go from being really happy, excited, or like full of energy to suddenly being like really down and just like no energy at all. And I think particularly when I'm stressed, that gets worse. Like I think if I've got more stuff going on, then I'm less able to deal with those kind of symptoms. Yeah, I also have really bad organisation and memory. Constantly leaving paperwork everywhere, much to the dismay of my colleagues.
You need someone to go behind you and just make sure that the things are being filed.
Oh yeah, no. So my manager's just last week, in fact, we tried out this new idea where I've basically just got like almost like revision cards, but just with my daily tasks on a little ring. And I basically am just going to work through the tasks through the day because I need all my tasks written down. And yeah, basically trying to find a way to allow me to put paperwork in places where I can still see it, but it's not in everyone else's way. Because we have like drawers and stuff, but I'm like out of sight, out of mind. Like I don't remember it's there. So yeah, but apparently leaving paper everywhere is an issue for everyone else.
Yeah. That's good that they're trying to get like things in place. It gives you a bit more of like a routine or a go-to.
Yeah. No, they are helpful.
So, because of the mood swings, does that kind of affect how your symptoms like present? If you're happy, are you more kind of like hyperactive and stuff, or?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. Yeah. So I'll be very like full of energy, laughy, jokey, quite like full of energy. And then obviously I can then be really low and I just literally want to sleep.
Yeah.
Or just sit there with my sunglasses on.
I need sleep. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that it's something that goes quite undiagnosed in girls often. So did it take you quite a long time to get a diagnosis? Is it just a recent thing? Or?
Yeah, so I got diagnosed May last year. So I literally got diagnosed, it was like 4 days before I finished my undergrad degree and 4 days before I turned 23. So I'm now 24. So yeah, I didn't get diagnosed until I was nearly 23.
Yeah. Crazy. And has it been something that you've noticed in yourself like since being quite young?
I mean, like, I definitely, certainly at school, would, I don't know, I was not very good at paying attention or sitting still, or I don't know, I was very easily distracted.
Yeah.
And like, I've had several people like over the years be like, yeah, I'm sure you have like ADHD or something. But I think because I used to nap constantly, they were like, oh, you can't have ADHD if you're sleeping that much. But no, like, that's obviously not the case. I think particularly with girls, a lot of it can be almost be like internal hyperactivity. So like my thoughts are constantly racing. Yeah. And I think, I mean, I could be very fidgety and stuff as well. I mean, I've always been fidgety. But I think also because I achieved well at school, it was just like, oh, you know, she's fine, she's just lazy, needs to try harder, stop getting so distracted. So like, yeah, the symptoms have always been there.
Yeah. It's a hard one to get people to take seriously as well, if it's like, oh, my thoughts are really hyperactive. Like,
Yeah.
People can't see that as much. It's like an invisible.
Yeah, and I think it's just like a lack of awareness and understanding, like it's not just being hyperactive, it's all of the other things. Like, I think I started seeing people talking about on Twitter, like just before I got diagnosed, and I was like, these people are like describing my life, like they're like, oh, constantly called lazy, or like not reaching your potential, and then like, yeah, the emotional dysregulation as well is such a big thing for me.
Yeah. So if you got diagnosed in May of last year, did it impact your application process, or were you already kind of most of the way through?
No, so I got diagnosed, it was about a week before my interview.
Okay.
And I mean, ideally, like, so another thing I really struggle with is like processing like auditory information. So if someone says something to me, I'm like, yeah, like, especially if it's a long question, like by the time they finished it, I'll be like, wait, what was the start of the question? And I think that was, I struggled with that in my interview a bit, because I think because it was only like a week after I got diagnosed, obviously I didn't have anything put in place. And I remember like the week, literally a few days before, I'd been having a video call with this mentor I was seeing through uni, and she was like, okay, well, I think the key thing for your interview is you really need to try and find a way to sit still. So we were like, I literally was sat there like hugging my knees for the whole of the interview, because I was so conscious of the fact that I didn't want to be like all over the place, because I didn't realise quite how bad I was until that point.
That must have been so hard, because you've got to like think about the interview questions and then think about all of that.
And my interview experience was just stressful anyway, because they changed what, like, it was on like Skype or Teams or whatever, they changed it like 10 minutes before the interview was due to start, and I was already waiting in the waiting area of the other platform. So yeah, it was all very stressful, but it's fine, we're here now.
Yeah, exactly. Got where you needed to get to.
Yeah, very stressful though.
Yeah. So did you disclose that you had ADHD like at the start of work?
Yeah, so when I filled in all the occupational health, when I filled in the occupational health stuff, I wrote that I had ADHD and like depression and anxiety. And then I think, so before I started, I had like a appointment with occupational health, and they did, I think we just like talked through things. We were like, okay, like, would you need like adjustments? We didn't really put anything in place. We kind of discussed them, and they were like, oh, well, we'll send a letter to your manager. But I don't actually know who they sent it to, because my actual manager came back from maternity leave the same day that I started at the trust. So I don't actually know who they sent it to, but there we go. But like everyone knows, like I'm open about it.
Yeah.
And like obviously my Instagram, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, because like one of my colleagues found my Instagram like really early on.
Yeah.
She was just stalking me.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
Does it impact, because you work with patients, are there some days where they'll take you out of those appointments if you're not feeling up to?
So I think that's been like certainly the last couple of months where like my mood swings have gotten really bad. I think just because I've been so overwhelmed because we've just been so short staffed. I'm always like burnt out that it kind of got to the point where last week my manager was just like, okay, we're just going to take you out of clinics for a week, just because I think you just need some time, like downtime. So I just ended up doing like the odd patient of one of my colleagues, and I think we've now reduced it slightly just because I was struggling to see all the patients. I mean, I was still seeing them, but because I had to, but I was, really between patients was just completely shutting down. Like, I think when I see a patient, I almost like switch, and I think because I'm talking to them and stuff, I'm usually all right. But it's when I'm like alone with my thoughts that I'm then I feel awful.
And then it's not like you've not got anything to do outside of the patient appointments as well. You've got, as you said, like all the admin, and then you've got reviews and But you seem to be smashing your competencies. It's insane.
It's just because basically I was really worried about the whole competency thing, and like, because I'm always so disorganized, leave everything to the last minute, like always been a last minute crammer for exams and stuff, and doing my assignments like the day before. But actually one file works perfectly for me because I get so excited when I see my little percentage go up. Like classic ADHD is like they don't do well with kind of one big reward. You like lots of small, short-term little rewards, and honestly, that's just one file just does that for me. I'm like, yes.
No, I get that.
Like if I'm feeling down, I'm like, oh, it's probably because I haven't got submitted anything on one file in a while, and I'll do that, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm happy again.
Looking at that like pending progress bar, and it shoots up.
Yeah, I like force my colleague to sign them off for me. I'm like, do it now. I submit them when I'm like sat next to her, and then like, have you gone on one file yet though?
Probably helps them keep on top of it as well though, because otherwise like if they've got 20 to go over, it just spirals for them too.
Oh yeah, no, you just get them done.
Have you had much other support from like your workplace and your manager?
So like, I mean, my manager and colleagues are very supportive in terms of like emotional support, but then also just like, I don't know, finding ways to help me work better. So writing me to-do lists, or now we're using flashcards or whatever. And just like my manager bought the department yoga mats and colouring pens because I wanted them. I made her PowerPoints on where we needed them. And I think they are quite good at like accepting my things that I'm not very good at, and then maybe like embracing my stronger points. And
Which, everyone has like things that they're really good at and things that they're not so good at or need to work on. So it's just about finding ways to put you in situations where you can use like your good points.
Yeah, and like my manager started writing down. I don't know if we have like a meeting or any discussion or anything. She'll like send me a summary of the key points because I remember like 1% of what she's told me.
I mean, I think that it's probably good for her as well to make
Yeah.
sure that you've got them. And also, it's just handy having things written down.
Yeah. And like often we'll go for like one of my colleagues will go for just like a 10-minute walk around the hospital. I think, and my manager encourages that, and just to move around. Or we go to Costa. We do that a lot.
Yeah. Might as well. You know how with the one file like progress and things, do you get a similar thing like at work? Do you kind of have meetings on your progress and feedback and stuff like fairly often, just to get that kind of positive reinforcement, I guess?
Yeah, so we're meant to, we have like monthly one-to-ones usually when we have our team meetings, and then I think my manager was going to try and do like weekly ones with me, but it's just been so busy that we don't always get the time to do it.
Yeah.
So, but no, like I think, yeah, she makes an effort to try and praise me like I'm a child.
No.
No, but just like pointing out the things that I've maybe done well.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you think you'd like to get in place, or do you think it's working okay?
I don't know. Like I think we've also discussed like basically if I'm not feeling great that I can just leave for like 10-15 minutes, almost like decompress and then come back. Or we've got my mindful colouring book, so I do some mindful colouring.
So it sounds like they're quite supportive with
honestly,
what they can do.
My team are amazing. Like they are so supportive. I feel very lucky to have been placed at this trust, because I don't think most managers would be anywhere near as supportive and understanding as what my manager is. So
sounds like quite a small team as well, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing slightly. How have you found the uni side of things?
Boring. No. Like in terms of like workload, I think first year I found it fine. Like I think the 6 weeks of online uni almost killed me, but yeah, I actually didn't find the workload too bad. It's just like a couple of bits of coursework, and the exams being online, I think was helpful for me.
Yeah, I got some. Did you or have you told uni about your diagnosis? Have you got any like support from them?
Yeah, so I did tell the uni, and then I think I had like a meeting at the beginning of the year, like a Teams meeting with one of the disability team or something there, and we just discussed things, and then basically I think we get like extra time and rest breaks in exams. Not that we really needed rest breaks because they've been online. But, yeah.
It's useful to have in place, I guess, if we go back to in-person exams.
Yeah, because I think certainly when I was at uni before, I would often just go to the toilet like midway through an exam, just so I could get up and move around. Because I was like, yeah, I need to just, I don't know, just getting up, going to the toilet, and then like coming back. I'm like, okay, now my brain feels refreshed now.
Yeah. At least you've got time now to do that as well. I used to have them at uni, and I'd just take my rest break to go to the toilet, so I didn't like
Yeah, you see, because I didn't have them before. I was like fully aware that it was eating into my time, and like sometimes I'll be sat there for like 10 minutes, like just staring into space, and I'm like, no, you need to do the work. Like, you are in an exam.
Yeah. So you went to Manchester a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
How was like the in-person lectures? Was it any easier to concentrate compared to the online stuff, or no?
No. Lectures aren't really for me. Like just basically sitting in a lecture hall makes me fall asleep. Like
Yeah.
I cannot describe it. It's like they make it the perfect temperature to make you fall asleep. So I'm either falling asleep or I'm sat there like restless as anything, just doing completely different stuff on my laptop.
Yeah.
So I was working on competencies in like some of the lectures. I was trying to sign up to take part in some clinical trials in one of the lectures.
That's cool. What kind of clinical trial?
I was just anything, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't actually got on any yet. That was probably just my like, for that day, I was like, yeah, I'm going to enroll. Like, I think there's a lot more to it. But, like, someone called me and they were like, oh yeah, can you email us when's a good time to call? And I've only just remembered about that. That was like 2 weeks ago, and I never did it. Oops. So yeah, anyway, the uni donut day didn't really work for me. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna go. I think most of them were recorded, so hopefully I can watch them back.
Yeah.
That's what I did at my undergrad. Like, I just couldn't make notes in lectures. I cannot listen and write. And then if I miss a bit, I then just get overwhelmed and I'm like, So I did go to most of my lectures. Well, yeah, when I was at uni, but I would often fall asleep. And then, luckily for me, all of my lectures were recorded at undergrad as well. So I would just watch them all in the few weeks before my exams and make notes. So that's probably what I'll end up doing for this. Although it's all about the research project, so I probably need to look at it. But,
have you had any ideas?
Pardon?
Have you had any kind of ideas about your research project? Or?
No, not. I've had a very brief discussion with my colleagues, and they were like, gave me some ideas, but I don't know which ones are feasible.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just ignore your problems. Yeah, it's probably not good, and I'll probably be really stressed out about it in a few months. But no, I do need to look into it.
I've not had any ideas.
No, and like some people are so like on it, and I'm like, okay.
I think everyone's got like that on it and different things, though, aren't they? Like a lot of people are on it with their projects, but maybe not so on it with like one.
But yeah, I think again because it's one of these things where I'm such a last minute person. Like, I don't have these small rewards. It's not like I see a percentage going up. If I had like a percentage of completed my project, I would be there like, yeah, let's get it done. But it's just one like huge task to me, and yeah, I just try not to think about it. It's probably not the best method, but
go into it from my and be like, can you just make target progress bar?
Yeah, that's literally what I need.
Is there anything else that you feel like you need from uni? Or
I mean, one thing I found really bad, but not ideal with uni, well, this year and last year, is they don't upload the slides. Not all of them upload the slides before the lecture, which I find really difficult because it's just, it's so hard to follow.
Yeah.
So I wish that they would all do that. Some of them do.
It's useful for everyone as well. Things like that. People print them off and use them to take notes and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. I cannot do writing and listening at the same time. I'm like, it's a lot more helpful if you've got the slides there in front of you.
Such a small thing for them to do as well.
I know.
They'd be uploading them anyway.
And then they come up with some rubbish excuses, and I'm like, just give us a freaking science.
Considering how organised they always tell us to be, it's quite ironic.
I know. And they're so disorganised.
Yeah. Is there anything else overall that you wish you'd got in place sooner, or you wish you'd done differently, or you wish work or uni had done differently, other than the kind of slides? You don't have to say yes. I'm like, wow.
I mean, like, I think just from like, well, me personally, I think reflecting on myself, I think I possibly, like, over the last few months, obviously I got very overwhelmed, and I think I need to get better at recognizing when I'm struggling and not constantly just pushing, because I think because growing up I was constantly told, like, you're lazy, you're not reaching your potential, all these things, like, those thoughts are so ingrained in my head that it's like I will just keep going, probably a lot beyond what I should, and then end up just reaching complete burnout. So I think I just need to start recognizing the signs that I'm getting worse, and then I can put things in place so I can, like, reduce my clinic slightly for a bit or something, or just take a couple of days out. And I think that's something I need to do. But also, my work has been very supportive.
Yeah. Like, your colleagues can see that as well sometimes before you can.
Yeah.
Because if you're just running on adrenaline, you run and run and run until you have nothing left, and then you get ill. Whereas, like, people can often see if things are starting to spiral a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's like, now I'm thinking about, like, the impacts of my constant mood swings on, like, my colleagues, and obviously it's exhausting for them. And I think I was almost like I didn't want to reach out for help because I feel bad or I feel like I'm a failure, but actually it's a lot better to do that than to let it get really bad, and then it has much worse effects.
And everyone has, like, help that they need to get as
well.
It's not just you.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. It's just like, if you are struggling, just say, like, it's nothing wrong with it. Like, people aren't gonna think badly of you, or at least they shouldn't. If they do, then that's their problem. But I think even, like, knowing that I had a recognised condition, I was still like, I don't want to seem like a failure.
Yeah. I feel like it's just something that, as you say, like, you've had said to you all the way through school, and if it's happened for, like, years or even months or weeks or whatever, it does kind of stick.
Yeah.
You're definitely not.
Hopefully, thanks.
Is there anything else that you kind of would, like, give as a tip or a recommendation for other people that have ADHD or are thinking of applying with ADHD?
Should have written these things down. Write everything down. That's the problem with ADHD. You don't remember anything. I have constant to-do lists. Just write everything down. Ask for meeting notes. Like, I think just finding something that interests you, and, like, this specialism is so great for me because I just get to talk and wave my arms around all day. So it's great.
Yeah, perfect fit.
But I did get told off for stretching in front of a patient, which I don't realise I'm doing.
Just getting a little bit of exercise in.
So literally, I'm, like, up and down on my chest so many times, like, when I'm testing patients. That's great. I just, like, move around. I'm, like, waving my arms around.
Yeah, that's good.
Just chatting rubbish. Good fun.
That's what they need, though. A lot of the time, they just want someone to chat to while they're doing it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think just trying to be organised. That's very difficult. Lots of to-do lists, and yeah, just asking for help if you need it.
Wow. Well, thank you for taking part in this. It was my first one, so sorry if it's felt a bit disjointed.
It's fine.
It was really
and
nice.
I just end up not answering the question.
You answered, like, everything.
I just go off on a tangent. Another thing.
They're all linked to the question, so it's fine.
We just go off on some random story about nothing.
Nah, it's all linked. Oh, well, I hope your other patient goes well as well.
Thanks.
And yeah, have a nice weekend. Take some time for yourself.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.